Our intervention takes place within an organization that has been experiencing issues with new employees and their inability to work in a diverse environment. There have been a couple of displays of discriminating actions or comments made among new employees. Our program will train all new employees before they enter the workplace and is given to those employees that have been hired within the last year. This is a valuing differences and awareness-based training program.
Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to today's diversity training. Before we begin today, I'm going to ask you as the employee to do a couple of things for me. First of all, keep an open mind. Second, be willing to learn. Third, if you don't understand something, don't be afraid to ask. So you may be asking yourself, what is the point of this training and why am I here? The objectives of this training are to help you develop a better understanding of different cultural backgrounds within your organization. I'm also here to help you understand what discrimination is and what it looks like in an organization. I want to create an understanding of why a diverse environment is necessary for your success as an organization. I want to help you and all your coworkers create a positive environment in which you feel safe and comfortable being who you are. And I want to encourage you as the new employees to embrace your uniqueness and use it to motivate you as you work in your organization. Next, I'll be passing around a handout. Please answer the questions to the best of your ability. When you're finished, please sit and wait for those around you to complete their handout. This handout is used only to stimulate your thinking. We will not be grading your answers. These questions should be answered later on throughout the presentation. Since the training will be based on the questions that were asked on your handout, I want to just read the questions out loud. The first one was, what is diversity? What is discrimination? Have you ever worked in a diverse environment before? Why do you think diversity is important to an organization? So what exactly is diversity? Diversity is the concept that encompasses acceptance and respect. It means understanding that each individual is unique and recognizing our individual differences. These can be along many dimensions, such as race, age, gender, sex, religion, and there are many more dimensions. Even something as simple as weight and height make us diverse. Diversity is also the exploration of these differences in a safe, positive, and nurturing environment. It's about understanding each other and moving beyond simple tolerance. It's about embracing and celebrating the rich dimensions of diversity contained within each of us. When discussing diversity, it's also important to talk about discrimination. Today we'll be discussing treatment discrimination, which occurs after a person is hired and takes the form of limiting opportunities or harassing certain individuals because of who they are. There are many laws enforced by EEOC that prohibit discrimination, but that doesn't keep it from occurring. If you feel you have experienced some sort of discrimination within the workplace, you need to tell someone, as more than likely your HR department has certain procedures set up to handle these certain situations. Let's take a moment to look at the stats of your organization. If you look at the graph, you will likely notice that there are different ethnicities represented. This graph is a visual explanation of the cultural diversity within your organization. If we look at the stats stated, you will notice that ethnicity isn't the only thing that makes us a diverse group. You'll also notice that the stats show disability, age, and religion. In your organization, 13% identify as disabled, 42% identify as over the age of 40, and there are 8 different religions practiced. Just looking at these numbers shows you the uniqueness and dimensions that encompass this organization. There's a story I like to share because I feel like it goes along with our diversity training very well. The story is told of an old and weathered Chinese water bear who had hung 2 large pots on each end of a long pole that he carried across his neck to deliver water each day. One pot had a fairly large crack, and the other delivered a small portion of water with each daily trip, about half a pot. The other was perfect and always delivered a full portion. For 2 years, the bearer only delivered 1.5 pots of water to his house each day. The perfect pot felt it had reason to brag in its accomplishments in doing exactly what it was made to do. The poor crackpot felt ashamed that it was only able to accomplish half of what it had been created to do. After 2 years of feeling ashamed, the crackpot mustered up the courage to talk to the water bearer. He said, "I am ashamed of myself. Because of this crack in my side, I cause water to leak out all the way back to your house." The water bearer said in response to the pot, "Did you notice the flowers all the way down the side of the path? That's because I have known about your flaw, and one day I planted flower seeds all along the side of your path. Every day when you walk back, you've watered them, and now for 2 years you have provided beautiful flowers that I have been able to pick and decorate my table with." He said, "Without you being just the way you are, I wouldn't have had this beauty along this path, or to grace my house." So let's take a moment. Have you ever thought about what life would be like if each of us were good at exactly the same thing? I'm personally thankful that we're all unique. Each of us has been given and blessed with a unique set of gifts and talents. And we need to remember that as we work to get along in a diverse environment, we also need to remember that it's okay to be who we are, and that we don't have to change just because someone else doesn't like the individual that we are. We all have something to offer to the organization. Diversity can play a large role in the success of an organization. When working in diverse groups or teams, the members will likely have many different experiences or knowledge. This can be used to their advantage because these different experiences allow for a wider array of ideas and creativity. When these ideas are put together, the team can create amazing works that are better because they are diverse. When employees of an organization can work together, the rewards can be maximized. Diversity doesn't limit your work. In fact, it does just the opposite, in that the sharing of ideas can create an even greater result than had you been all the same. Use this diversity to motivate you when you're working alongside your coworkers. Diversity isn't found in just the workplace, though. It's all around us. When working, it's important to respect not just your coworkers, but also those who you work for. Clients are a very important part of our organization, and without them, you would have little to no success. Take the time to learn a little about your client, especially when you're working for an individual who represents a culture that is different from your own. Get to know a little about their values and beliefs, and be prepared to act in a way that is respectful to their values. Being aware and prepared can really help you as an employee and can help you seal the deal. At this time, I'd like to take questions. Are there any questions?
I have one. So you're saying that by making rude comments about coworkers' physical appearances, beliefs, or values, you are discriminating against that individual?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Negatively judging another individual based on their cultural differences is definitely discrimination.
I also have a question. If I were one of the employees that had made the rude remarks to a coworker, how would I go about fixing my actions?
If that were the case, I would definitely start with a sincere apology and maybe even a letter. I'm sure that you will find that the individual accepts your apology and is willing to move past the incident.
So you're telling me that I can actually benefit from being in a diverse environment?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. In a diverse environment, you are likely to find a wider range of ideas and knowledge that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. Look at your differences as being a positive aspect and embrace it. Differences do not have to be negative. These are all great questions. Does anyone else have a question? Great. If not, I'll finish up our training. Before I dismiss you, I'd like to sum up a few things from our training. First, I want you to keep in mind that we're all different and that's what makes us great as individuals and together as teams. Next, diversity can definitely benefit your organization. Embrace the diversity that surrounds you. Try to create an environment where your coworkers feel safe and uplifted when sharing their ideas, values, or beliefs. Be who you are and be proud of your culture in which you came from and represent. And finally, always be aware of your actions and the things that you say. As we dismiss, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Ola Joseph. Diversity is not about how we differ. Diversity is about embracing one another's uniqueness. And I encourage you to do just that in your organization. Thank you for attending our diversity training today. We hope that you're leaving here with a greater understanding of diversity as an individual and in your organization. Thank you.